Alright, we got this fine Chevy Silverado in here. Good old northern truck. Customer complaint. It's leaking oil. And boy, is it leaking oil. Now, from the looks of it, it looks like the oil leak is coming from up top. Down the bell housing. Down the back of the engine. And it is pouring out. This truck's only been sitting here for, I don't know, 10 minutes. I haven't had it on the lift for long. And it's just everywhere. Now, while I was looking at it, we noticed these CV boots here, pretty much gone. Those are on the list. And while I was checking the front end, I grabbed this tire here and I went to move it. Holy smokes. Heard that loud clunk. And let's see if you can see it. Yeah. That guy right there. And our tie rod end is about ready to let go. That is in rough shape. So we're gonna get this down on the down off the lift. We're gonna go look up top for that oil leak. His other complaint was the oil pressure gauge isn't registering. I have a pretty sneaky suspicion the oil pressure sending unit is leaking oil everywhere. But let's confirm that. Yeah. Let's take this on over here. Get it up and around. Oh, it's not easy to do one-handed. Yep, stock height truck, and I still can't reach. So, just a little short. Let's take this engine cover off. Maybe. Alright, hold on. Okay, we're back. Alright, now that oil pressure sensor is right back here. Let's see if you can see it. It's a little dark back there. Right there. See that guy right there? So what we're going to try and do, we're going to get you down there and see if you can tell me if it's leaking or not. Oh. Don't think it is. Really hard to say. It might be that valley plate leaking. Now let's get it started up and see what it does. Okay. Oh, we got a vacuum leak going on here. Not seeing anything right now. We do have this vacuum hose. Look at that. Completely collapsed. Sucked the truck shut. That's for the PCV on that rear. I wonder if our leak here. Really not much to see over here. Look down. Looks like the valve covers might be leaking a little bit, but that's not going to account for the amount of oil we have leaking down there in the bottom. And this thing is all everywhere. Get you down. No, you're not going to see anything down there. I know I'm probably making y'all seasick. Cleaning y'all all over the place. But I mean, this thing is I'm just not seeing anything coming from that guy. Back underneath this thing, see if it's pouring out like we think it is. Doesn't seem to be leaking as bad as it was. Alright. Let me poke around. Alright. Yeah, we added oil to it. We're pouring out on this side now. Oh, holy smokes. Oh, yeah. So, oh, sorry. You guys are coming out there. So put dye in the oil so you can see the oil glow. And boy, it's puking out back here. Kind of hard to say though. If that's the oil pan or if we're coming from further up. That ain't good. Alright. And then on this side, looks like it's hard to say. So we have a really big leak right up in here. Camera isn't picking it up real well. But I mean, see how that's kind of a neon color? Goes all the way up to about corner of that oil pan. Ooh, focus. Somewhere up in there, corner of the oil pan area. So we need to see what's going on there. And then we got on this side, looks like a little bit. Let me get a little closer with this guy. A little bit coming from that seal there. And hard to see. Shove you up here. Get up there. Maybe. Oh, too far zoomed in. Okay. Yeah, you have to take my word on it. Up there near the oil pan. Also looks like it's leaking at the back of the oil pan. Alright, so we've determined where the oil leak is on this one. Up here in the back of the pan, it just pours out. We confirmed up in there that it's not coming from the crank seal. So it is not a rear main seal, but it is in fact up here where the high oil pressure goes through that oil pan. Looks like it is leaking, and then maybe even leaking down through the back and across and pouring down in this back corner and this back corner. So we are going to get that oil pan off there. Now, in this particular truck, to get the oil pan off, this differential right here, that's got to come out. It's got to come out. Take this cross member out, take the differential out, unplug the inner axle disconnect motor here, take your axle shafts out, both ends. We've already started with this, but disconnect the drive shaft, and you got a bolt right in here. You got a bolt right up here. Technically, you can get this one here, and that one, whoop, there, if you can see my finger. And then you got these two here and here. So, not super difficult. The most difficult part about removing the differential is just, it's big, heavy, and awkward. But not super difficult at all. Once that bad boy is out of there, the oil pan, which lives all the way up in here, all the way back to there, is a lot easier to replace that in the gasket. And of course, while we have it down, we're going to change the oil in it. Obviously, we're going to drain it. We're going to put a new filter. We're going to replace all the gaskets for the oil pan. And then once that is done, we're going to move on to the next, which is inner tie rod end on this. So, the customer did approve inner tie rod end, brakes, and oil pan gasket. We are putting off on the CV, so he wants to do that at a later date. Same with the oil pressure switch up top. Since the oil gauge doesn't read any oil pressure, we've confirmed that that is in fact inaccurate. It does have oil pressure. Common issue on these is the oil pressure sending units go bad. So we're going to replace that at a later date as well. So right now, all he could, we want to make sure we get the massive oil leak taken care of first. I mean, it just pours out of there. I mean, that was. I mean, for y'all, it was like 2 seconds ago, but for me, that was yesterday. So, and you can see it's been splashing back for a while. This thing, he said he's been driving it like this, pouring oil out for a while. So, good way in the north to keep your vehicles from rusting. Terrible on engine longevity, in case you forget to put oil in it, which he has done numerous times. So, I'll get set up and we will start taking stuff apart, and then maybe I'll do a time lapse. I don't know. I ain't gotta wait for someone to hold a camera. I need the camera woman to show up, I guess. I don't know, we'll see. So, yeah, I guess y'all will know in about 2 seconds, and I will know in about 30 minutes. There you go. Now, that differential removed, you can start to see more of the oil pan here. So, probably gonna have to take the rack, loosen it, just so we can drop it down a little bit, because the hose is right there on top there. But that's pretty straightforward. On the back side of this, there's a bolt here, bolt up here, one here, and then one up there. So you got the four. Basically, that one, inside of this hole, and then above the hole up here. And then we can drop that rack down just enough to get that oil pan snuck out of there. Easy peasy. All right, so here we are. Oil pan's all cleaned up. Put our gasket on it. So this is a OEM gasket. Sits down right in here. A little trick, put a couple bolts there and there. Kind of helps hold it all, line it all up. Make sure when you take these pans down, especially when they're completely covered in oil, clean them up. You're not going to get them perfect, but you want it better than when you had it. And then we also replaced the gasket that sits behind here. So we are pretty much ready to go in. And of course, we've cleaned up our surfaces up top. So they're not going to be perfect. There's going to be a little bit of staining on it, but basically you don't want to catch it with your fingernail. So all of that is just mostly staining. So we'll oh, and those corners right there, you want to put silicone in those. So the only spots you need to put silicone there and there. And then there's two more in the front. Whoop, right over there. And on that side as well. So yeah, we're pretty much ready now to get this oil pan up in there. So let's do that right quick. This video is starting to get a little bit long. I'm gonna try and make it to where videos are about 30 minutes long. So the brakes and inner tie rods on this are probably going to be a part 2, kind of their own little video. So let's get to it. Boom, just like that. In a matter of seconds. You got differential back in it. Got the oil pan back in it. Cross member. Yep. Everything is nice in there, nice and tight, cleaned up. Man, we still got to clean around the cross members and stuff, but I mean, look at the oil pan. Clean compared to everything else. So, we're going to get it down. We're going to put oil in it. And make sure we don't have any more leaks. Well, fingers crossed it's not the back plate on the engine, but I don't believe so. Not that common for those to leak, so only one way to know. It was this route or pull the transmission out. Yep. There you go. Guess that answers our question. All that oil that was pouring out, that was, now you can see better, that was all the oil pan. Because I mean, it was a couple days ago for me, but for y'all it was about 30 minutes ago. This thing was absolutely pouring oil out right here in this corner. So, there we go. Got that all sealed up. We're gonna move on to the rest of it, but that'll be the end of this one. End of this video. We'll do another video for the remaining on this. This video is already getting kind of long, so we will see you in the next one. Looks like we did a good job. Been running for a little bit. Get warm. There we are. Yep. Got no leaks. Looks nice and dry. So we're gonna finish the rest of this in a second video. This video is already getting kind of long. I want to try and keep my videos down to about 30 minutes. I feel like that's a good length video. Nobody really wants to sit and watch this for an hour. Not that I think of anyways. If you feel otherwise, let me know. Do you want longer videos? Do you want shorter videos? Let me know. Is 30 minutes good for y'all? Down in the comments. Like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye. Quick little update. That Chevy Silverado we did the oil pan on. Unfortunately, that wasn't where the oil leak was. We were concerned it was that rear cover plate. Unfortunately, it was. We let it run a little while longer. It did inevitably start leaking. But we're not going to charge the customer for that oil pan repair. So we diagnosed it, and so that was on us. So we take full responsibility for a misdiagnosis around here. Customers shouldn't have to pay for other shops' misdiagnosis. It happens, unfortunately, and when it does, that should fall on the shop. And so customer did go ahead and approve doing the rear seal and cover plate on that engine. So we'll end up putting a video out with that rear seal and cover plate for it. We'll get them taken care of, and we'll get that oil leak figured out. But this is a good point. You know, when you do work, when a shop does work, you know, there's another, I'm pretty sure y'all have seen their videos, pretty popular guy, big YouTube channel, and he talks about the 4 C's, and he's correct. It's concern, cause, correction, confirm. And the last one being confirm. Too many shops don't confirm their repair. I like to try and confirm my repairs, or in some instances where we need something to run a drive cycle for check engine light, sometimes we'll let the customers know that, hey, we haven't cleared the monitors, and it needs to, you know, basically to let us know if the light comes back for a confirmation. But sometimes in certain instances, if it's a issue where a quick drive cycle, you know, can confirm, we'll run quick drive cycle like in the other video we did with the Chevy Cruze. We put about 45 or 50 miles on that car. We made sure all the monitors, the Ready monitors, went through and they were all good, so that our code didn't come back. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not every day is a good day, and we all make mistakes. It's owning up to your mistakes and owning up to, the cost of that. You put the blame where it belongs. And so we own up to it. We didn't fix that oil problem, and so we are covering that. We're not charging the customer for any of the oil pan labor or parts, but he did, go ahead and approve the rear cover. So once we get that video, we will include it, and we will tag it in it, and you will see it. Thank you all for watching.